The stars stretched out endlessly before the U.S. Intrepid as it moved through uncharted space. Captain Elaine Murphy sat in her command chair, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. This was the farthest any human ship had ever traveled from Earth, and she felt the weight of that responsibility. "Status report," she said, her voice calm despite the tension in the air. Lieutenant John Garcia looked up from his tactical station. "All systems normal, Captain. No signs of any other vessels in the area." He paused, then added, "At least, none that our sensors can detect." The Intrepid was Earth's most advanced warship, equipped with technology that seemed like magic compared to what they had just 10 years ago. The experimental stealth systems made them nearly invisible to conventional scanners. Their weapons could punch through almost any known shield. But out here, in the darkness between stars, no one knew what they might encounter. Commander Frank Daniels, the first officer, stood beside Captain Murphy. "We've mapped the star system as ordered. Should we continue to the next coordinates?" Before she could answer, Chief Engineer Samantha Wells called from engineering. "Captain, I'm picking up some unusual energy readings. They're faint, but they're definitely artificial." Murphy straightened in her chair. "Source: unknown," Wells replied. "But they're getting stronger." The bridge fell silent. They had all known this might happen someday. Humans had wondered for centuries if they were alone in the universe. Now, they might finally get their answer. "Yellow alert," Murphy ordered. "Power up defensive systems, but keep weapons offline. Let's not start a war on our first day as ambassadors." The ship hummed as shields came online. Garcia's fingers moved quickly over his console. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple objects changing course to intercept us. They were hidden behind the moon of the gas giant. They're fast, much faster than anything we've built." "On screen," Murphy commanded. The view screen shifted to show several sleek vessels approaching. They moved with impossible grace, their hulls shimmering with colors that shouldn't exist in space. "Those are ships," Daniels whispered. "Alien ships." Wells' voice came through again. "Captain, they're scanning us. Our stealth systems are holding, but they know we're here." Murphy took a deep breath. "Options, people. We could run," Garcia suggested. "The new drive could outpace them and show fear to our first alien contact." Wells argued through the comm. "We should demonstrate strength. Let them know humans aren't to be taken lightly." Daniels shook his head. "Caution would be wiser. We don't know their capabilities or intentions." Murphy considered her crew's advice. This moment would define humanity's first steps into a larger universe. "Open a channel. All frequencies. Let's try talking before anything else." The communications officer, Lisa Patel, worked her console. "Channel open. Broadcasting universal greeting package." The alien vessels moved into a formation around the Intrepid, not threatening but certainly containing them. Minutes passed with no response. Then, Paddle's console lit up. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission. The computer is attempting to create a translation matrix." "Put it through," Murphy ordered. Strange sounds filled the bridge, clicks, whistles, and tones that no human throat could make. The computer worked frantically to decipher the alien language. Finally, words appeared on the screen. "Unknown vessel. You have entered territory claimed by the Galactic Concordat. Identify yourself and state your purpose immediately." The bridge crew exchanged glances. After centuries of wondering, humanity was no longer alone. "This is Captain Elaine Murphy of the Earth vessel U.S. Intrepid," she responded, her voice steady. "We come in peace as explorers from Earth." There was a long pause before the response came. "Earth vessel, prepare to be boarded for inspection. Any resistance will be considered hostile action." Garcia's hand moved toward the weapons controls. "Captain." Murphy held up her hand. "Steady, Lieutenant." She turned to address the alien transmission. "We welcome cultural exchange, but boarding our vessel without permission is not acceptable. We propose a meeting of representatives instead." The alien ships drew closer, surrounding the Intrepid completely. "The Concordat does not negotiate with unknown species," came the reply. "You will comply." Murphy smiled slightly. These aliens were about to learn something important about humans. "Then it seems we have a problem." Captain Murphy stood her ground as the view screen changed to show the alien commander. The bridge crew of the Intrepid fell silent at their first sight of an extraterrestrial being. High Commander Zix Terra of the Galactic Concordat had 6 eyes arranged in a circle around what seemed to be a head. Its body was covered in something that looked like blue scales. When it spoke, mandibles clicked together beneath its eyes. "Your vessel design is unknown to us," Zix Terra said through the translation system. "Your refusal to submit to inspection is noted." Lisa Patel worked quickly at her communication station, refining the translation matrix. She whispered to Captain Murphy, "The translator is picking up nuances now. They seem surprised by us." Murphy nodded and addressed the alien commander. "As I said, we welcome peaceful contact. We suggest a meeting of representatives instead of boarding. Perhaps you would join us on our ship, or we could send a small team to yours." The alien's eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture the humans couldn't interpret. "You are not what we expected." "In what way?" Murphy asked. "Your physical form, your ship design. You have no exoskeleton. You appear soft and vulnerable, yet you command a vessel with significant power signatures." Lieutenant Garcia tensed at his tactical station. "Captain, they're scanning us again, more intensively this time." Commander Daniels leaned close to Murphy. "They're trying to figure out if we're a threat." Murphy kept her expression neutral as she addressed Zix Terra. "We humans come from a planet called Earth. We are explorers by nature." "Explorers do not typically build warships," Zix Terra responded. "Our scans detect weapon systems. For defense only," Murphy explained. "Space is unknown and potentially dangerous. We come in peace but are prepared to defend ourselves if necessary." The alien commander made a sound the translator couldn't process. "The Concordat controls thousands of star systems. We maintain order among hundreds of species. Your arrival was unexpected." Murphy felt a chill. Thousands of star systems. Earth had barely colonized a handful of planets in their own system. "We would like to learn more about the Concordat," she offered. "Perhaps we could share information." Zix Terra seemed to consider this. "A delegation will be permitted, 3 representatives only. We will meet on our vessel." Security Chief Alan Rodriguez spoke up from his station. "Captain, I strongly advise against this. We know nothing about them." Murphy considered her options. First contact was too important to refuse, but Rodriguez had a point. "We accept," she told Zix Terra. "Myself and 2 officers will shuttle to your vessel in 1 hour." After the transmission ended, the bridge erupted in discussion. "Captain, their scans are becoming more invasive," Garcia reported. "They're trying to penetrate our classified sections." "Raise passive countermeasures," Murphy ordered. "Block the scans, but don't make it obvious we're doing so." Commander Daniels shook his head. "This is moving too fast. We should contact Earth Command first." "We're too far out," Murphy reminded him. "By the time we get instructions, this moment will have passed. This is why we're out here, to make these decisions." Lisa Patel looked up from her station. "I've been analyzing their language patterns. There's something strange. When they speak about us, they use terms that translate roughly as potential threat or unknown variable." Rodriguez checked his sidearm. "I'm coming with you, Captain." "As am I," Patel added. "You'll need a communication specialist." Murphy nodded. 1 hour to prepare. Daniels, you have the bridge. If something goes wrong, your priority is the safety of the ship and sending word back to Earth." The first officer looked uncomfortable but agreed. As Murphy left the bridge to prepare for the meeting, Chief Engineer Wells called up. "Captain, while they were scanning us, I managed to get some readings of my own. Their technology is advanced, but I'm seeing vulnerabilities. Their power distribution isn't as efficient as ours. Murphy smiled slightly. Good work, Wells. Keep gathering information. The captain entered the turbolift, her mind racing. Humanity's first alien contact was happening under her command. History would remember this day, one way or another. The shuttle from the Intrepid docked with the massive Concordat vessel. Captain Murphy, Security Chief Rodriguez, and Communications Officer Patel stepped through the airlock into an environment designed for alien bodies. The air felt thick and smelled like cinnamon mixed with metal. Atmosphere is breathable, but has higher oxygen content than we're used to, Patel said quietly, checking her handheld scanner. We might feel lightheaded after a while. Rodriguez kept one hand near his concealed weapon. Movement ahead. 3 aliens approached, led by High Commander Zix Terra. Up close, the aliens were even more imposing. They stood nearly 7 feet tall, their blue-scaled bodies protected by sections of what looked like natural armor. The 6 eyes tracked the humans with unnerving precision. You are smaller than expected, Zix Terra said through a device that translated its clicks and whistles. Murphy smiled, trying to appear friendly despite not knowing if the gesture meant anything to these beings. We come in many sizes. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting. The aliens led them through curved corridors to a round chamber with a large table. Other aliens watched from the edges of the room, their mandibles clicking rapidly. They're talking about us, Patel whispered, her translator picking up fragments. They seem concerned. As they sat down, a new alien entered the room. Unlike Zix Terra's blue scales, this one had red markings and more pronounced armor plates. It carried itself with obvious authority. I am War Director Kroll, it announced. This meeting is unnecessary. Unaligned species should be studied, not negotiated with. Zix Terra's mandibles clicked rapidly. The Council authorized this contact, War Director. Kroll made a dismissive gesture. Humans have no place in galactic society. They are too unpredictable. Murphy kept her expression neutral. You seem to know about us already. The room fell silent. Zix Terra and Kroll exchanged looks. We have observed your planet, Zix Terra finally admitted. For many cycles. Rodriguez tensed beside Murphy. How long is a cycle? What you would call years, Patel translated. You've been watching Earth? Murphy asked, carefully hiding her alarm. For how many cycles? Enough to know your kind is dangerous, Kroll interjected. Your species fights itself constantly. You develop weapons before medicine. You expand aggressively. Back on the Intrepid, Junior Officer Kevin Douglas made a startling discovery. He called Commander Daniels to his station. Sir, I've been analyzing their communication frequencies. They've been transmitting regular reports about Earth for at least 15 years. They have satellites in our solar system. Daniels immediately contacted Dr. Nicole Carter, the ship's medical officer. Doctor, are there any signs aliens have been studying humans directly? I'm not sure, Carter replied, but my scans of their biology show something interesting. Compared to them, humans are remarkably resilient. Their exoskeletons provide protection, but our internal skeletons allow for more flexibility, and our muscle density is significantly higher. Meanwhile, in engineering, Chief Wells worked frantically as alarms flashed on her console. Commander, she called to Daniels. A small Concordat vessel is attempting to access our computer systems. They're trying to bypass our security protocols. Block them, Daniels ordered. I'm trying, but their approach is sophisticated. I need to implement countermeasures. Wells activated a defensive program she had designed. The system reversed the intrusion attempt, sending a feedback pulse through the connection. On the alien ship, the meeting was interrupted when a junior alien rushed in, chittering urgently to War Director Kroll. What's happening? Murphy asked. Kroll's eyes fixed on her with new intensity. Your vessel has attacked one of our scout ships. It was merely collecting data. You mean it was trying to hack our systems? Rodriguez said bluntly. Zix Terra stepped between them. This escalation was not authorized. Your species proves my point, Kroll declared. Humans are too dangerous to be allowed free travel among the stars. Murphy stood up. We defended ourselves against an unauthorized intrusion. If you wanted information, you should have asked. Her communicator beeped. Captain Daniels' voice came through. Earth Command finally responded to our first contact report. They're ordering us to maintain peaceful relations, but protect Earth's interests at all costs. Murphy looked at Kroll and Zix Terra. The situation was balanced on a nice edge. We came as explorers and potential friends, she said firmly. But we will not be treated as a primitive species to be studied and controlled. The return journey to the Intrepid was tense. Captain Murphy, Rodriguez, and Paddle sat silently in their shuttle as it crossed the gap between the alien vessel and their own ship. 2 Concordat fighters escorted them, weapons visibly powered. That could have gone better, Rodriguez muttered. Murphy shook her head. Actually, we learned a lot. They've been watching us for years. They're afraid of us, and they're divided on how to handle us. When they docked with the Intrepid, Commander Daniels was waiting. Captain, while you were away, Science Officer Paul Mitchell found something you need to see. In the science lab, Mitchell had star charts displayed on the main screen. The young officer stood nervously as Captain Murphy entered. What am I looking at, Mitchell? She asked. I accessed some of their astronomical data during the counterhack, he explained. I've been analyzing their territory markers. He pointed to various colored regions on the display. These green areas are Concordat worlds. The yellow ones are what they call monitored species. But look at these red zones. Murphy studied the map. There are dozens of them. What are they? Former homeworlds of species the Concordat considered dangerous, Mitchell said quietly. They're all either under direct Concordat control or uninhabited now. The room fell silent as the implication sank in. They subjugate species they fear, Daniels concluded. Murphy's communicator beeped. Captain, the Concordat flagship is hailing us, Paddle reported from the bridge. When Murphy returned to the bridge, the view screen showed both High Commander Zix Terra and War Director Kroll. Human vessel, Kroll began. The Concordat Council has reached a decision. Your ship will surrender to us for thorough study. Your crew will be taken to a processing station for evaluation. Zix Terra's mandibles clicked rapidly. This is merely a precaution. The Concordat must understand your technology and biology before allowing further contact. Murphy exchanged glances with her bridge crew, and if we refuse, then you will be classified as a hostile species, Kroll stated flatly. The consequences would be severe. Murphy took a deep breath. I have a counter-proposal. Instead of surrender, we offer technological exchange. We share information openly, as equals. Kroll's eyes narrowed. You are not in a position to negotiate. I think we are, Murphy replied calmly. Science Officer Mitchell, please share your findings with our guests. Mitchell sent the data about the subjugated species to the view screen. Zix Terra's mandibles stopped moving completely. How did you access this information? Kroll demanded. The same way you tried to access ours, Murphy said. The difference is, we're acknowledging it. Earth will not be added to your collection of controlled worlds. The Concordat representatives went silent, communicating with each other in their own language. After a few minutes, Zix Terra spoke again. The Council is divided on this matter. War Director Kroll recommends immediate containment. Others, including myself, see potential in alliance. Then let us demonstrate our worth, Murphy suggested. A challenge, perhaps. A controlled demonstration of capabilities without actual combat. This seemed to interest the aliens. Even Kroll's posture changed slightly. A challenge? Zix Terra repeated. This is unusual, but has precedent. What do you propose? Your best ship against the Intrepid. Non-lethal competition to demonstrate technology, skill, and adaptability. The aliens conferred again. Finally, Zix Terra responded. The Council agrees to your proposal. The challenge will take place in the uninhabited system nearby. Our flagship, the Eternal Dominion, will represent the Concordat. After the transmission ended, Daniels turned to Murphy. Captain, are you sure about this? Their flagship is twice our size. Murphy smiled slightly. Size isn't everything, Commander. Contact Earth Command. Let them know what's happening. Lieutenant Garcia looked up from tactical. Captain, I've been analyzing what data we have on their ships. They rely heavily on brute force and intimidation. Their maneuverability is lacking compared to ours. Wells, Murphy called to engineering. How fast can you maximize our engines for the upcoming demonstration? The chief engineer's confident voice came through. Give me 6 hours. I'll have the Intrepid dancing circles around them. Murphy looked around at her crew. This is no longer just first contact. This is humanity's introduction to the galactic stage. Let's make it memorable. The uninhabited star system was filled with asteroids and dust clouds, a perfect testing ground. The U.S. Intrepid took position at one end, while the massive Concordat flagship Eternal Dominion loomed at the other. 5 smaller Concordat vessels hovered nearby as observers. On the Intrepid's bridge, Captain Murphy addressed her crew. The challenge has 3 parts: navigation, defense, and problem-solving. The Concordat goes first. The view screen showed the Eternal Dominion beginning its demonstration. The alien ship fired powerful energy beams that vaporized asteroids in its path, creating a clear tunnel through the field. Brute force approach, Lieutenant Garcia commented. Impressive firepower, but wasteful. Next, the alien ship demonstrated its defensive capabilities by absorbing concentrated fire from its escort vessels without showing damage. Their shields are layered, Chief Engineer Wells noted from engineering. Strong, but I'm detecting power fluctuations after each hit. For the final test, the Concordat flagship faced a simulated crisis, navigating through an electrical storm while protecting a disabled vessel. The Eternal Dominion extended its shields around the smaller ship and pushed through the storm with raw power. High Commander Zixtera's voice came through the comm. The Eternal Dominion has completed its demonstration. Your turn, Earth vessel. Murphy looked at her crew. Let's show them what humans can do. For the navigation test, Garcia suggested a different approach. Instead of clearing a path, let's use the asteroids. The Intrepid moved into the field, its engines precisely controlled. Rather than destroying obstacles, the ship maneuvered between them, occasionally using minimal phaser fire to nudge asteroids into stable orbits that cleared a winding path. What are they doing? War Director Kroll's confused voice came through an open channel they hadn't realized was active. Saving energy, Zixtera replied, and demonstrating precision. For the defense test, Murphy had a surprise. Lower shields, she ordered. Captain, Daniels questioned. Trust me, Commander. When the test began, the Intrepid used its superior maneuverability to evade most attacks, while its point defense systems intercepted others. Not a single hit landed on the unshielded hull. Impossible, Kroll exclaimed. No vessel can move like that. The Concordat observers chittered excitedly. Then came the final test. As the Intrepid approached the electrical storm, sensors detected an anomaly. Captain, Mitchell called from Science Station. The storm patterns have been altered. The intensity is 3 times what the Concordat faced. Rodriguez looked up sharply. Sabotage. No time to argue, Murphy decided. We proceed. The Intrepid entered the storm, violent energy discharges hammering the ship. The lights flickered. Systems failed. Hull breach on deck 4. Someone shouted. Wells' voice came through static. Captain, I'm implementing emergency protocols. The engineer activated a series of modifications she had been working on since their arrival. The Intrepid's hull began to emit a counter-frequency that dispersed the electrical charges around the ship instead of absorbing them. The disabled vessel they needed to rescue was being torn apart by the storm. Standard procedure would be impossible. New approach, Murphy ordered. Garcia, calculate a tractor beam frequency that will work in this storm. Mitchell, reroute emergency power to the beam. The crew worked frantically. The Intrepid extended a specially modulated tractor beam that surrounded the disabled ship with a protective field. Then, instead of pushing through the storm like the Concordat had done, the Intrepid pulled the vessel along as it twisted and rolled through gaps in the electrical discharges. When they emerged from the other side, both ships intact, the comm channels erupted with alien chatter. The Intrepid returned to the starting position, parts of its hull scorched and damaged, but mission complete. Challenge finished, Murphy announced. High Commander Zixtera's voice sounded different when it responded. Captain Murphy, the Concordat observers are impressed. Your methods were unexpected. That's kind of our specialty, Murphy replied with a small smile. Daniels leaned close to the captain. We knew they changed the parameters, yet we still succeeded. What message does that send? Murphy's expression grew serious. That humans can adapt to anything, even sabotage. Let's hope they understand that cutting corners against us only makes us more determined. The Intrepid limped back to the rendezvous point. Repair crews worked to fix the damage from the challenge. In the conference room, Captain Murphy met with her senior officers to discuss their next steps. The Concordat Council is in emergency session, Communications Officer Patel reported. I've been monitoring their transmissions. They're arguing about us. What are they saying? Murphy asked. Patel looked down at her notes. It's divided. Some, led by High Commander Zixtera, think we would make valuable allies. Others, particularly War Director Krull, are pushing for quarantine of Earth. Quarantine. Rodriguez frowned. What exactly does that mean? Science Officer Mitchell spoke up. Based on historical records we accessed, it likely means isolation. They would place monitoring stations throughout our solar system to prevent us from expanding further. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. That can't happen, Daniels said finally. Earth is already planning colonies beyond our system. Murphy nodded. We need to change their minds before they reach a decision. An alert sounded, and Patel checked her communicator. Captain, High Commander Zixtera is requesting a private meeting. Just you and him. No other Concordat representatives. Murphy raised an eyebrow. Interesting. Where? A neutral location. One of the moons in this system. Murphy considered this. It could be a trap. Or an opportunity, Daniel suggested. Murphy made her decision. I'll go. Rodriguez, prepare a security detail, but they'll remain on standby. I need to show trust if I want to receive it. While preparations for the meeting were underway, Dr. Nicole Carter made a discovery in the medical lab. She called Captain Murphy immediately. Captain, I've been studying the biological data we collected. Humans have unique neurological traits compared to Concordat species. Our brains process information differently. We make intuitive leaps they find difficult. Murphy considered this. Is that why they were surprised by our approach in the challenge? Exactly, Carter confirmed. Their thought processes are more linear. They struggle with our adaptability. The captain thanked her and headed to the shuttle bay. As she prepared to depart, Lieutenant Garcia approached with urgent news. Captain, long-range sensors detected unusual activity near the system's edge. Multiple Concordat vessels are gathering there. A show of force, Murphy wondered. Or preparation for something worse, Garcia said grimly. Murphy boarded her shuttle and traveled to the designated moon. High Commander Zixtera was waiting in a small structure erected on the barren surface. His mandibles clicked rapidly when she entered alone. Brave of you to come without guards, Captain Murphy. I thought we could speak more honestly this way, she replied. Zixtera's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. The Concordat is at a crossroads. In 3,000 cycles, we have never encountered a species like yours. Is that good or bad? Murphy asked. Uncertain. War Director Krull has significant support. He believes humans must be controlled before they spread. And you? I see potential in alliance. Your methods during the challenge were illuminating. As they talked, back on the Intrepid, Communications Officer Patil made an alarming discovery. She called Commander Daniels to her station. "Sir, I've intercepted coded messages between Kroll's ships. They're not waiting for the Council's decision. They're planning to disable our long-range communications and deploy quarantine beacons around Earth immediately." Daniel's face hardened. "Can we warn Earth?" "I tried, but something's blocking our transmissions. All communication relays between here and Earth have gone silent." In engineering, Chief Wells was reaching the same conclusion. "Someone's taken out the subspace relay network. We're cut off." Daniels gathered the senior staff. "The captain is walking into a political firestorm, and Earth has no idea what's coming. We need options." Rodriguez stepped forward. "I can take a small team in a stealth shuttle. If we can reach the edge of Concordat space, we might be able to send a message to Earth." Mitchell shook his head. "The distances are too great." "Not if we modify one of our probes to carry the message," Wells suggested. "It could use experimental drive technology. Risky, but possible." Daniels looked at each of them. "Both. We do both. Rodriguez, prepare your team. Wells, start modifying that probe. The rest of us will buy you time." On the Moon, unaware of these developments, Captain Murphy was forming an unlikely alliance with High Commander Zix Terra against the growing threat of War Director Kroll's faction. Captain Murphy's shuttle was halfway back to the Intrepid when the attack began. 3 Concordat warships appeared from behind a nearby planet and opened fire on the human vessel. "Evasive maneuvers," she ordered her pilot. "Get me the Intrepid." On the bridge, Commander Daniels watched in horror as the enemy ships closed in on the captain's shuttle. "Shields up. Weapons online," he commanded. "Garcia, target those ships but hold fire until my order." The Intrepid moved to intercept, its engines pushing to maximum speed. Before they could reach the shuttle, a new ship appeared, High Commander Zix Terra's personal vessel. "Concordat vessels, cease fire immediately." Zix Terra's voice boomed across all channels. "This action is not authorized by the Council." The attacking ships hesitated but did not withdraw. One fired again, narrowly missing the captain's shuttle. "They're not listening," Garcia reported. Daniels made his decision. "Fire warning shots, close enough to scare them, but not hit them." The Intrepid's weapons flashed, sending energy beams that passed just meters from the Concordat ships. The aliens scattered briefly, giving the shuttle time to approach the Intrepid. As soon as Captain Murphy was safely aboard, War Director Kroll's flagship appeared, flanked by 5 heavy cruisers. "Human vessel," Kroll's harsh voice came through. "Your resistance is noted and will be punished. Surrender now." Murphy rushed onto the bridge, nodding thanks to Daniels before taking command. Status report. Rodriguez left with his team to try restoring communications with Earth. Wells launched the modified probe as backup. "We're facing 6 enemy ships, but Zix Terra appears to be on our side." Murphy opened a channel. "War Director Kroll, your actions violate diplomatic protocol. The Concordat Council has not yet ruled on our status." "The Council moves too slowly," Kroll replied. "Your kind is too dangerous to allow time for debate." The enemy ships spread out, surrounding the Intrepid. Zix Terra's vessel moved to position itself alongside the human ship. "This is civil war, Kroll," Zix Terra warned. "Stand down." "Traitor," Kroll hissed. "Humans have corrupted you." Without further warning, Kroll's ships opened fire. The Intrepid rocked under the impact. Direct hit on decks 5 through 7. Security Chief Rodriguez's second-in-command shouted, "Shields holding at 60%. Murphy studied the tactical display. They were outnumbered and outgunned. "Garcia, target their weapons systems only. We need to disable, not destroy." "Captain," Mitchell called from Science Station, "I'm detecting new warp signatures. 3 ships approaching fast." "Concordat reinforcements?" Daniels asked worriedly. Mitchell's face broke into a smile. "No, sir. They're human. Earth sent help." 3 Earth vessels dropped out of warp, their hulls gleaming in the starlight. The U.S. Defiant, Valiant, and Dauntless took positions around the Intrepid. "This is Captain Olivia Martins of the U.S. Defiant," a new voice announced. "Looks like you could use some assistance, Captain Murphy." Murphy had never been so happy to hear another human voice. "Your timing is perfect, Captain Martinez." The odds had suddenly shifted. 4 human ships against 6 Concordat vessels, still not favorable, but no longer hopeless. Krull seemed stunned by the reinforcements. More human warships. How did they get past our blockade? "We're full of surprises," Murphy replied. Then, to Garcia, "Implement defense pattern Murphy Alpha." The Intrepid suddenly revealed weapons systems that had been hidden during previous scans. Point defense turrets emerged from concealed compartments. Shield generators reconfigured to create overlapping protection zones. The Earth ships moved in perfect coordination, as if they had trained for this exact scenario. They focused fire on Krull's flagship, their precision strikes targeting engines and weapons while avoiding life support systems. Zixterra's vessel joined the attack, firing on Krull's support ships. One by one, the enemy vessels lost power or weapons capability. Inside the Intrepid, damage control teams rushed to contain fires and seal hull breaches. Despite the chaos, the crew worked with remarkable efficiency. They're regrouping, Garcia warned as Krull's remaining operational ships pulled back to form a defensive line. Murphy opened a channel to all Earth vessels. "Hold position. Let's not push them into a corner." The battle paused, both sides assessing the situation. Krull's ships were damaged but still dangerous. The human vessels had sustained damage as well, but their unexpected capabilities had shocked the Concordat forces. Martinez's voice came through again. "Captain Murphy, Earth Command sends a message. More ships are on the way. Hold until reinforcements arrive." Murphy smiled grimly. The galaxy was about to learn an important lesson about humanity. Never underestimate our resolve or our ability to work together when threatened. The standoff continued for nearly an hour. Both sides remained in position, weapons ready but not firing. On the Intrepid's bridge, Captain Murphy used the time to plan their next move. "We can't wait forever," Daniel said quietly. "Krull is probably calling for reinforcements too." Murphy nodded. "We need to end this now, before more ships arrive, and this turns into a full-scale war." Lieutenant Garcia and Science Officer Mitchell had been working together at the tactical station, speaking in hushed tones. Finally, they approached the captain. "We have an idea," Garcia said. "Mitchell and I have been analyzing the Concordat ship's power systems. They all use the same frequency patterns." Mitchell continued, "We think we can create a targeted electromagnetic pulse that would disable their weapons and engines without harming life support or causing permanent damage." "How?" Murphy asked. "We'd need all 4 Earth ships plus Commander Zixterra's vessel to fire specially calibrated energy beams simultaneously," Garcia explained. "The overlapping fields would create a cascading system failure in their ships." Murphy considered this. "Non-lethal but effective. I like it. How soon can you set it up?" 20 minutes, Mitchell said. Murphy opened channels to the other Earth ships and to Zixterra. She explained the plan, and they all agreed to participate. While the technical teams worked, Murphy opened a direct channel to War Director Krull. "This has gone far enough," she said firmly. "You attacked us without provocation and against your own council's procedures." Krull's mandibles clicked angrily. "Humans are a threat that must be contained before it spreads. Your technology, your adaptability, you would upset the balance of power that has maintained peace for thousands of cycles." "We don't want to upset any balance," Murphy argued. "We want to be part of the galactic community, as equals and allies." "Impossible. Your kind would never accept being equal. You would always push for more." Murphy smiled slightly. "You may be right about that. Humans are always pushing boundaries, always looking to improve. But that doesn't make us a threat. It makes us valuable friends and terrible enemies. The choice is yours. Krull's only response was to cut the communication. 20 minutes later, the human ships and Zixtera's vessel were in position. The targeting systems were synchronized, the energy beams calibrated to precise frequencies. All ships report ready, Captain, Garcia announced. Murphy took a deep breath. Fire. 5 beams of energy shot out, converging on the space around Krull's ships. The beams didn't strike the vessels directly but instead created an energy field that pulsed with increasing intensity. On the enemy ships, lights flickered and went out. Weapons powered down. Engines failed. Within seconds, all of Krull's vessels were floating helplessly. It worked, Mitchell exclaimed. All target ships have lost power to weapons and propulsion. Life support and communications are still functional. Murphy opened a channel to the disabled fleet. War Director Krull, this is the end of your attack. We could destroy your ships now, but we won't. That's not who we are. There was silence for a long moment before a new voice responded, not Krull, but another Concordat official. This is Senior Council Member Vex. War Director Krull has been relieved of command for exceeding his authority. We request ceasefire and open dialogue. High Commander Zixtera's voice joined the conversation. The full council awaits your response, Captain Murphy. This demonstration of both power and mercy has affected many opinions. Murphy smiled at her crew. Tell the council I would be honored to address them directly. 3 days later, Captain Murphy stood before the assembled Concordat Council. Hundreds of alien representatives watched from tiered seats as she spoke about Earth, humanity, and their hopes for the future.